So a lot has happened since I've uploaded my last video about Sweet Baby Inc. and their CEO saying terrible things about white people and saying terrible things about the fear tactics that they employ when trying to coerce companies into working with them. And every time that somebody from Sweet Baby Inc. opens their mouths, it seems like nothing good comes out of it. I mean, this guy right here, Chris Kindred, who was attacking and trying to get Kabrutus mass reported and banned from Steam for his Sweet Baby Inc. Detected Curator page, which is just a guy having opinions. He did not stop at trying to get this guy canceled after Steam told the guy, no, we're not going to ban him. We're going to stick with him, which is really interesting considering that Valve has worked with Sweet Baby Inc. in the past. But this guy did not stop there. He decided yesterday that he would go a step further and make not only his company look bad, but him as a person look bad by saying Toriyama gave us the best and worst black characters in anime in the same series. It took range to do that. So he takes this opportunity to push some inclusivity and racist nonsense, trying to paint Akira Toriyama as a person who grossly misunderstands black people. And this is right after it is announced Akira Toriyama passed away, which is very tragic. The man was an absolute legend, and he defined a lot of my childhood growing up. I mean, his work means a ton to a lot of people, and it has shaped a lot of today's entertainment. But this is exactly what Sweet Baby Inc. and its employees do. This should not be shocking to anybody. Of course, they're going to disrespect Akira Toriyama right after he dies as a way of pushing their own ideas onto everybody else, right after they make themselves look disgraceful in front of all of social media across the world. And Chris Kindred, who is a narrative designer, as George says here, for a narrative designer, you don't seem to have much talent for narrative or timing. Diversity hire, and you're probably wondering why I pulled this post up specifically. Well, this guy who was causing a whole bunch of trouble has locked his tweets, so there's no real getting into contact with this guy or seeing any more of his posts because, I don't know, I guess he didn't like all of the extensive backlash that he was getting. Now, when it comes to Sweet Baby Inc., this is their website behind me. They really do not have a lot of narrative talent. From this website alone, it doesn't seem that they really know how to put together an appealing website, although they do have an extensive list of games and companies that they worked for. As you can see here, Alan Wake 2, Spider-Man 2, awful what they did to Spider-Man. God of War Ragnarok, which I played and actually enjoyed, but I can see how they had their tendrils in that as well. And these are all of the companies that they have worked for. And you can see some big names here right off the bat. I mean, Xbox Game Studios, Electronic Arts, Valve. I mean, the people that sided against them, by the way, in this whole Kabrutus situation, which I find to be absolutely hilarious. I wonder if there will be any further fallout from that. But then you've got Santa Monica Studios for God of War, 2K, Borderlands, Ubisoft, Assassin's Creed, Square Enix. I mean, do I even need to say it? Final Fantasy, Kingdom Hearts, Warner Bros, Polytron, Rocksteady, and by the way, you'll see Polytron later as well. You've got Wizards of the Coast, Avalanche. I mean, a lot of familiar faces here. Remedy. You've got a lot of companies here that Sweet Baby Inc. has worked for. And in fact, I think that Sweet Baby Inc. probably has the most reach out of all these companies that we're going to be talking about. But I have to point out that I'm just super thankful for people like Mr. Obvious, who posted this on X the other day. Internet autists have compiled a list of companies like Sweet Baby Inc. If only you knew how deep the rabbit hole goes. And this is a list from r/AsmonGold. It says, here's a list of Sweet Baby-esque consultation companies that propagandize games. And I found this list to be really interesting. So I actually tried to go onto r/AsmonGold to check this out. Unfortunately, it looks like the moderators for Asmongold decided that either the people in the comments were saying way too mean things, or that it was just inappropriate to post all of these links to these websites for some reason. I guess people gave it too much backlash and someone felt offended. Who knows why they did it? I decided that I'm going to pull up the websites and take a look at them myself. And right off the bat, you've got this website here for theblackgirlgamers.com. It says the Black Girl Gamers is a multi-platform and inclusive community-powered organization that keeps over 9,000 Black women gamers safe online. What do they need to be safe from? Are they in any kind of specific danger? They've worked with Twitch, Warner Bros, NatWest, Google, PlayStation, Square Enix, Riot Games. And what is it exactly that they do? Well, it says right here that they've got events, talent, community, Consultation, that's an interesting one. Black Girl Gamers is uniquely placed in the gaming industry. The intersection of our team, community, and experience allow us to offer a number of consulting services for clients within gaming. Black Girl Gamers founder talks what video games have done right and wrong for diversity and inclusion. So J.N. Lopez, the CEO and founder, had a conversation with Game Rant about this recently. She was talking about original content that explores different cultures, which hasn't been done enough. She also named which video games are on the right path for diversity and inclusivity and others that still need work to do. Black Girl Gamers, there's more work to be done on representation in games. After 8 years of diversity, equity, and inclusion work for Black women and gender non-conforming individuals, Black Girl Gamers continues to stay the course. Sitting down with Game Industry Biz, CEO J.N. Lopez reflects on the organization's work and the game industry's stubborn stance when it comes to better reflecting the real world, because that's exactly what we want in video games, right? We just want a reflection of the real world all the time with 100% perfect representation from all minority groups. Black Girl Gamers founder shares how she intersected entertainment, fashion, and beauty with gaming. So here's a consultation agency. I mean, they do events, they do consulting and advisory, they do their own content. I mean, they have their own talent. I mean, they have their own community. This is a very active group. 9K members with talent, online followers, 115K, 100% minority operated, 200K put in the pockets of our members. So Hit Detection, a video game consulting firm with a global presence. It says down here, our commitment to building a team from a variety of backgrounds, including underrepresented groups, is a superpower that allows us to provide unique and varied perspectives, setting us apart from other firms, even though it's seeming like they're a lot like other firms. This diversity is a strength that fortifies our insights and gives us a natural advantage within the consulting landscape. I mean, these guys have worked with quite a few big names: Riot Games, Blizzard, EA, Obsidian, Eurogamer, CNET, The Verge, Polygon, GameSpot, Edge, GamesRadar, Wired, and IGN. Former consultants from our ranks have gone on to join prestigious companies such as PlayStation, Larian Studios, Xbox, EA, and Level Infinite, Tencent. So these guys are active and they've got people in the industry. I mean, they've got people everywhere. These people are everywhere. This is a huge problem. And this is just one website. But you can see just from here the games that they've worked on. What is that? Sonic Frontiers, Alan Wake 2. I forget what that one is. Is that a Silent Hill game? They have a bunch of services: mock reviews, competitive analysis, build comparison analysis, big picture analysis. They weigh in on early features and zoom out to see the broader landscape, identifying trends and opportunities, to push the message. And look at their clients. Very interesting. You've got Remedy. I mean, we just saw Remedy. You can't see it too well here, but there it is, Remedy right there. It's very interesting that these companies are not just working with one consulting agency, they're working with several apparently. And you have to keep in mind also that this entire thing isn't just the consulting agencies trying to work their way in, but these studios really want these companies to work with them because they do believe in pushing this DEI nonsense. And it is really sad, but it is reality. So we're going to take a look at another one here, Balance Patch. Oh, Balance Patch is currently under maintenance. Wow, that's unfortunate. If you need to get in contact, please go here. Okay. Oh, it's this little form: name, studio organization, email, and comment. You know what? What's the harm? What is the harm? Let's see if they actually respond to me if I reach out. Dreadroberts, YouTube. I put my email in there. And then the comment. Let's see. Are you guys still alive? You know what? I think that will be good enough. Oh, thank you. Your information has been submitted. Well, in the meantime, while we're waiting for them to respond, we're going to take a look at their Twitter. And as you can see, they have 285 followers. It's been a while from what I can see since they've posted anything. They were reposting a lot in 2020, but I haven't seen anything from them since. As you can see here, they're reposting one person over and over again. And these are quotes from what appears to be a live stream that they were a part of. They were a guest on a live stream called EGX Digital, but this was from a long time ago. The last time they officially posted was in September 20th of 2020 when they were announcing the live stream that they were going to be on. I actually looked at their website specifically. Their website does not actually have the stream on there, so I looked at their Twitch. And yeah, they have 300 followers, but they haven't done a stream since, I don't know, 3 years ago. And 3 years ago, one of their recent streams from then was a fireside chat on diversity and inclusion. and that was their live stream with Balance Patch. Only 5 views 3 years ago. Yeah, that one looks super entertaining. I'm sure it is. But it looks like that company never went anywhere, and apparently neither did this streaming account. I don't know. So let's take a look at Silverstring Media. Craft your own story from the ground up, from your story Bible to final script. Design how the story gets told and intersect with game design and production. Manage teams of writers and designers, or consult on any aspect of your narrative, from diversity to architecture. Look at their client projects. So Polytron, we saw them before on another gaming website, right? Polytron is working with more than one. Now these guys focus more on indie games, but their about section is very intriguing to me. Silverstring Media is a queer-led video game and narrative design studio, crafting original games and providing services in digital placemaking and storytelling. With leadership based in Vancouver and a team of diverse talents across Canada, each of us brings a unique voice and multiple valued perspectives to the development process. They're world builders, they say. Consulting agency just like Sweet Baby Inc. Now, I don't know how active these guys are, so let's pull up their Twitter. What was the last thing they posted? It was back in December of 2023. Their last post was less than 24 hours left to get this amazing bundle. Story-rich mega bundle. Very, very interesting. Glitch Hikers. They said on their website that they really cared about that one, but they have not posted anything since. Now, they did post something about Stonemaier Games. I looked at it, and it looks like it's just an interview from 2022, which was a couple of years ago, from their DEI consultant, Lydia Waymeyer. And that goes about as well as you would expect, and like talks about what a DEI consultant is, but it's apparently very important to some of these companies. But let's look at another one, GamerX. Now this one is such a fun find. GamerX is proud to offer consulting and training services to the games industry as part of our mission to support and celebrate LGBTQIA+ people and culture in games. We offer a selection of LGBTQIA+ centered training curricula, as well as customized solutions designed to advance diversity, equity, visibility, and inclusion in gaming. So what they do is they offer services to these companies, and these companies choose from one of these, or they choose an entire bundle. So going through this is just such a joy to see. This is so funny. Presentation: integrating queer themes in games. So a 60-minute presentation on the basics of incorporating LGBTQIA+ themes and content into games. Wow, sounds like such an entertaining 60 minutes for my life. I can't wait to use up such precious time for something like this. Workshop: gender identity in the workplace, a 90-minute or half-day workshop. So this is a service that these companies pay for. A community management: strategies for supporting LGBTQIA+ players, a 90-minute or half-day workshop. Our staff discusses best practices for celebrating LGBTQIA+ people and player communities. So that's another thing. Panel discussion: a customized 60-minute panel featuring gender diverse, LGBTQIA+, POC, and disabled and or neurodiverse experts in the field of games. This discussion not only focuses on representation, but also intersectional visibility in games-based community building. I can't imagine why any company would want to spend money on this. This seems like such a waste of time for anybody attending. I mean, your first objective should be make a good video game that people will enjoy in general. I mean, this is just a way over the top. Consultation: marketing, social media, and promotional materials review. GamerX staff and or an appropriate expert in our network will review marketing materials and talking points related to your project with regard to you-know-what content. I mean, all of these services, they're all listed and described differently, but a lot of them sound exactly the same, just in different forms. Looking to overhaul your game narrative? Have a fantastic, groundbreaking idea for new LGBTQIA+ content, but unsure how best to execute it? And this is basically the same thing as Sweet Baby Inc. does. Now, let's look at the game companies that they are affiliated with. So Niantic, we've got Behavior, and look, Dead by Daylight, that's very popular on Steam. And then, oh no, yes, it is. Volition. Yep, that's a winner. You can tell that is a total winner right there. If you think that it can't get any weirder, it actually does, because Weird Ghosts is another one that we got to take a look at, as well as one of its counterparts that spawned from it. This says an impact fund for studios led by underrepresented founders across Canada. We support video game studios with studio development training, catalytic investments, and community in order to build strong, impactful teams of underrepresented makers who are shaping the future of games. Weird Ghost invests in founders who want to build profitable, impact-oriented studios with a long-term vision and commitment to equitable, work-centric structures. So they have actually sponsored PXR 2022, 2023, Gamerella. I think they've been active for a couple of years. But you have to see the about this, because this actually gets so weird. That whole description up top, it's just a small portion. I mean, if you look at these, there's small paragraphs describing what they do. But in the About Us section on what they really do, it's actually pretty astounding. Weird Ghosts was born from a collective desire to empower structurally excluded game devs. Our ultimate goal is a funding landscape in Canada that truly supports game studios at all stages so that all can grow and thrive. Now, this is public, okay? This is on their main website, so it's not like I'm doxing anybody. They don't have their addresses posted or anything. So you got this person here, general partner. She is a queer and disabled white settler. White settler, okay. White settler, that's a weird thing to call yourself. A background in theater, games, poetry, health communications, a PhD in communication studies. And then you got the other founder, who is a general partner. She is a queer white settler and a community arts advocate and organizer. What's with the white settler thing? Is there a reason why they are calling themselves white settlers? Scrolled, land acknowledgement. Ah, yes. Land acknowledgement. Now it's starting to make perfect sense. Although we refer to ourselves as a Canada-wide fund, we acknowledge that what we now call Canada is built on unceded Indigenous territory. What? Weird Ghosts operate out of Winnipeg on Treaty 1 territory and Toronto on Treaty 13 on the unceded territory of many nations, including the Mississauga. Okay, so they're naming a bunch of Indigenous tribes. We know that acknowledging the land is only one part of addressing settler colonialism in Canada. Weird Ghosts is owned by two white settlers who aim to practice uncolonization. Of course, you gotta decolonize. And who better to uncolonize white people than white people, am I right? By prioritizing the support of Indigenous creators, centering social impact within the games industry, and creating less extractive funding models. Well, I guarantee you that less people will be extracting funds to help you out in the future. I will say that much. We hope to take further measures to deconstruct colonialism in both our fund and the games industry as we continue to grow. I had to take a second look just to make sure we were still talking about video games here for a second, because what this tells me is that these two ladies who are queer are feeling white guilt, and they want to help decolonize white people. I mean, from what? From video games? Decolonize them? What are you trying to push them out of? And it's funny because they even have a link here that says decolonization, meaning what exactly? And it takes you to this page on Stone Circle Press, where they describe decolonization as breaking free, when a nation seeks to become free of the oppressed regime imposed on them by a colonial power. Settler removal. So this makes sense why they're calling themselves white settlers now. So they're like, we started this company so that we could remove people like us from video games for some reason, because we got to save the video game culture, or withdrawing and leaving the lands of the oppressed as they have taken by stealth or force. So that is how we as gamers are being viewed by these two ladies working at Weird Ghosts, who they founded. But it gets even stranger, because apparently they have a fund called Baby Ghosts. Right here, Baby Ghosts, we support emerging founders. Our mission is to advance cooperative and worker-centric labor models in the Canadian interactive digital arts sector. Blah, 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 jargon, to say that you want to help push the message financially. What we do: provide grants and education to diverse teams, conduct research on worker-centric studio models in Canada, foster an engaged community of studio members and their supporters. So I guess they got 5 new studios for 2023. They were active in 2021. I guess they're recruiting too. Now here's something interesting that they posted at the bottom here. It's a quote from somebody. It says, but we are a play community, and playing the way we do for fun, for everyone's fun in public, our fun little community becomes something else. To those who want to be seen as people who embrace life, embrace each other, embrace spontaneity, freedom, laughter, we are an alternative, an invitation. We play as if the game isn't important. All right? It's a weird thing to say. The rules aren't important. So the game isn't important. The rules aren't important. The only really important thing is each other. So it's not about the games. It's about us. That's exactly what Baby Ghost is saying. And so they are a branch off of Weird Ghosts. But let's take a look at another one. So now we're getting into dark territory. We've got Gamma Space, which looks straight up like a secret society symbol that you just plaster on the back of a dollar bill. We are a cooperative studio of game developers, artists, and creative technologists dedicated to exploring community-led flows of individual and collective support. So they offer grants, I'm guessing, right? 6-month program of tailored mentorship with a community of game-making peers. We offer the space and tools. Currently in development with support from Weird Ghosts and the Canadian government's investment readiness program. Our non-for-profit community publishing program is a regenerative model for supporting the pre-development, production, launch, and post-launch of member games through funding, blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. Now, it's no surprise that they're working with Weird Ghosts because they all seem to share the exact same ideas. Anti-oppression and decolonization framework. As stated right here, this is one of their company goals. We commit to actively working to inform, learn, teach, activate, model, and champion values and practices of anti-oppression and decolonization in all community activities and shared spaces. We understand this to be an iterative, humbling, and rewarding process that requires time, care, compassion, love, attention, courageous and gracious commitment, that it involves continuous self-examination concerning our roles in society, culture, and history, and that it extends beyond compliance with diversity and human rights standards. Our goal is to dismantle power and privilege and mitigate systemic inequalities. So basically, they're like, through love, compassion, commitment, and friendship, we're going to decolonize the whites. What is wrong with these people? There's something seriously wrong with these companies. And the fact that they have gone for so long completely unnoticed is beyond me. Statement about Palestine. They even had to say something about Palestine at the end. You can't see it fully, but it's right there. Statement about Palestine. We believe in the humane and just treatment of Palestinians, as well as their right to live on their homelands free from occupation, determine their own governance, return home from exile, and enjoy unqualified dignity, freedom, and safety, because that has everything to do with video games. This is clearly propaganda. They were not kidding when they said these people want to propagandize games. This is the kind of stuff they want to push into video games. They want to push free Palestine and I stand with Israel, a whole bunch of political stuff. They also want to push a bunch of DEI nonsense, diversity, equity, inclusion. But there is nothing more entertaining than this one right here. This is probably the most entertaining out of all of the websites I have found on this list so far. This one's called Cozy Comet Games. The coziest comet you have ever seen. It says coming soon, which I'm guessing this never took off. But it says Cozy Comet is a video game studio based in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. The studio is currently hard at work on their first game. As a lover of all things cozy, you can bet it will be a cozy game. Stay tuned for more updates. And it was co-founded by persons of marginalized genders and race, and is grateful to live, work, and celebrate on Treaty 6 core territory. Our team is made up of diverse people who each bring something incredible to the game, all while achieving gender parity, whatever that means. So what are their games? Our games are designed to resonate with folks from multiple backgrounds and levels of expertise. Sure they are. Oh, so get in touch. So get in touch with the, oh my gosh. What is that thing right there? This thing just like pops up, has absolutely nothing to do with the rest of it. This little cat with a witch hat on. Is that supposed to be the mascot? I thought that smiley face thing in the top corner was supposed to be the mascot. But this is, there's not a lot of information on here. I guess it was coming soon, but this is on the list. So I actually went a step further and wanted to check out their Twitter. So their Twitter is quite interesting. It says Cozy Comet Games. Got like 100 followers, and their last post was from December 2023. They have not posted anything since. It says the question now is, do we put a Santa hat on the Comet? I don't know. I don't know if you do that. Us casually changing our branding now that we have a real artist on the team. Really? A real art? Oh, is that what the real artist did for you? A smiley face with some purple glop around him? Well, that's pretty interesting. They were even teasing the image. They said, do we dare tease our costume change? We're about to get a whole lot cuter. And like they'd show half the smiley face. But you know, it's interesting. Like their logo from before actually looked pretty cool. I mean, look at that. I kind of like that one a little better. Cozy Comet Games, he looked happier. It actually had more going on in the logo. They sacrificed it for this. They're really proud of this this photo here. Very interesting. But I guess they never really were able to do anything, were they? I don't see that they were able to consult. So, you know, whatever. I guess gender parity is not in the cards for you, Cozy Comet Games. I mean, these are all websites that do this, and a few of them are actually connected with each other, and other game companies, big game studios, have hired more than one of these very same listed companies to consult with them. And again, as a reminder, it's not just these companies reaching out and trying to weasel their way into these companies. These studios actually want this kind of help because, strangely and disturbingly enough, they believe in this movement. And that's why some of these companies like Sweet Baby Inc. were thriving. But it's only now that players and people all across the world now are starting to see these companies for what they really are, and they're pushing back. And that's why we have Valve saying, hey, it's okay for this Steam Curator page to exist because it does deserve to exist, and Sweet Baby Inc. deserves to be in the spotlight for everything that they have done to damage video games. And I can only assume that once Sweet Baby Inc. goes down the drain, which looks very likely, it's very possible that these other companies, if they're not already gone, may follow suit. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like and share it if you haven't had the chance. That would be awesome. And hey, if you're feeling ultra spicy, consider subscribing to my channel so that you're always up to date on what kind of thing I've got going on. I look forward to seeing you all in the next one. Later. Meow, meow.